Basic greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Viktor Fursov and I'm very pleased to invite you to my channel on YouTube. Because if you are familiar with smartphone, I can be more often with you in your smartphone. And by the way, I am very pleased to introduce myself. I am a research entomologist at the Institute of Zoology of National Ukrainian Academy of Sciences. And I am studying parasitic wasps which are beneficial in biological control of agricultural pests. Of course, if you have any problems with your pests in your orchard, in your garden, maybe in your field around you, or you're just involved in something in arachnophobia, or maybe in arachnophilia, or maybe insectophilia, I hope so, not insectophobia, I can help you to solve your problems. You can always ask me in comments any questions what you would like to know about insects and other invertebrates and other arachnids and other animals, and can give you my opinion, professional opinion, because I'm a professional entomologist. Definitely, I'm working in Institute of Zoology, so you're familiar, you'd think that zoologists were studying something like this, like tigers, like some big animals. Definitely, some of our researchers studying big animals like that, and definitely this one were just already not living on the earth, but like that, definitely. But some animals were still alive, and we are studying them definitely in all small tiny details. Probably you know a little bit about entomology, or you're familiar with entomology, never mind. If you do like to study, for instance, Lepidoptera, butterflies, moths, I invite you to my channel. I will try to tell more stories about butterflies, moths, to show some collections of them, because entomologists were collecting insects, yes, insects for scientific reason. Of course, we're making kind of collections, put them in boxes, in tiny boxes, like this lovely, not butterflies, but beetles, like this lovely Coleoptera beetles. Entomologists were collecting different insects with different methods, and my channel is devoted to tell you a story about how to make collection, how to collect insects, and how to maintain scientifically useful collection. For that, of course, you can use entomological butterfly net, and I told and I will tell more stories about how to use professional or amateurs butterfly net for collecting insects like that behind of me, or another one. And of course to use some different techniques like these tiny small yellow pen traps. You can use it also to collect these tiny small parasitic wasps which are flying everywhere around us like plankton, because they are very tiny. They are here very big on this poster, but I'm studying this tiny parasitic wasp. These are Trichoramatida family, tiny parasitic wasp belonging to superfamily Calcidoidea in Hymenoptera order. This is classification of parasitic world of wasps and in all parasitic insects. Because I'm taxonomist, I'm systematist, and I'm studying this tiny parasitic wasp. What we are doing, entomologists? We are creating different scientific papers. We are making atlases like this. We are publishing different, not only these pictures, these drawings, but also very professionally done photographs done under the scanning microscope, optical microscope. We use different equipment. After collecting of the insects, after getting them in collection, we need to study them under the microscope. And of course, this will give you very interesting experience with not microorganisms, but with microvision of these tiny insects. Because I'm not microbiologist, but I'm studying these very tiny micro insects, because they're very tiny. And of course, if you have interest in something in microscopy, my channel is especially for you, because I do like to show different interesting small tiny insects, their details, how they're living, and also different invertebrates like acaris, like tiny ticks, mites, because they are very small and many people are afraid of them, but you can see them under the microscope. Even if you can buy or get from your friends kind of old equipment like this one. This is equipment of your grandfather and grandmother maybe, but nevertheless you can use even this tiny, very funny rarity, this very old microscope, but nevertheless you can study some insects and some invertebrates under the microscope, or some plants as well, because this can give you some good experience in the study of biological material on these tiny microscopic preparations, microscopic slides. And I do like to show these microscopic slides on my channel. You will see many different stories about microscope, how to make preparations, how to make slides, how to see and what you can see under the microscope on here on this tiny glass slide, because it needs experience. It needs experience to collect and to make good microscopic preparation. And of course I do like to use some professional books, because actually scientists they need to use different encyclopedias, like this encyclopedia of beekeeping and this encyclopedia of entomology. Definitely scientists need to have very encyclopedic knowledge about different biological objects, and they see here. But not all biologists can use professionally these books to explain what we can see under the microscope, what we can see in the field, how to explain some biological situation, biological events, stories. Of course, your teachers, professors in university can do it, but some scientists that so deeply involved their professional world of science, so they can do it really. But I'm trying to explain more about science, about biological objects, about entomological objects, about insects, about parasitic wasps, about different bees, about different insects, because all of them, there's probably more than 1 million of insects all around. But I'm studying parasitic wasps, and for instance this book of Hymenoptera, this tiny parasitic wasp of Hymenoptera, or this is like a Bible for Hymenopterists, for people who are studying parasitic wasp. And I will tell you more stories about, not only about insects who are inside this book from a scientific point of view, but from such more popular point of view, to show you close-up view on some tiny parasitic insects and tiny insects under the microscope in a field, maybe in my laboratory or maybe even in my kitchen. And of course this is a difficult competition with such highly rated channel like BBC, CNN, NHK, which have very powerful cameras, equipment, and can travel all around the world, and like a David Attenborough can show different very interesting objects in a tropical area, just in a field. But I'm also trying to show some interesting objects in a field and also with me, because I'm coming to field and I'm collecting material and I'm trying to show it directly to my viewers, like this one, like these combs of a Vespa vulgaris, very dangerous hornets who were living, by the way, somewhere here around near the city in a village, but I collected it because they were inside the farming house, and I showed already, and I will show more stories about them in this season and this summer season. And this is a kind of a peculiarity of my channel, because I do like to show living organisms, not only dry like in collection, as I told you, because dry insects, already dead insects for scientific purpose. Sorry about that. This is very important, but it's very interesting to study them under a microscope. But in YouTube channel and in life, we like living insects, we like zoological parks, and sometimes my channel is working like a tiny zoological park where you can use these tiny small nets for collecting insects as well. You can collect insects like in these tiny boxes, like these insects that were collected here, and can be used for cooperation. If you will learn how to collect them, how to use these traps, so you can receive different interesting scientific material in your samples in your distant area, somewhere in Asia, somewhere in Latin America, somewhere near India, in Thailand, Colombia, Cambodia, Vietnam. All these distant areas were slightly difficult for field expeditions. You know this area very well, but you can use these traps to collect this unique material for taxonomies. As you know, biological diversity of insects deteriorating, insects disappearing. If you can collect them, this is unique material for our cooperation with you. You can collect insects in your traps. They are very tiny. As I said, all these insects on this poster were not more than 1 millimeter, between 0.5, 0.6 and 1 millimeter, or maybe 3 millimeter. This is like an elephant, by the way. So they're here, all these tiny elephants here. This is unique material for scientific study, for description of this material in scientific papers. We can publish these papers in cooperation with you, my viewers, my followers, so I invite you for cooperation. And as I said, I am very pleased to show for my viewers some kind of my zoological garden, my entomological zoo, because my zoo is just breeding somewhere in different places, in my laboratory, and not only in laboratory. Come here. Yes, I'm very pleased to show you different insects in my hands, and you can see it, you can watch it on my channel, on my different stories which I have shown already, and I will show you more in this season too, because I do like not only collection, I do like to put insects on my finger. Either this is a hornet, either this is this Madagascar cockroach, to speak about biology of this insect, describe behavior, describe the details of this insect, how to breed, how to feed, where these insects are living, and of course, if this is a pest, how to rid of these insects, how to rid of these invertebrates in your house, in your kitchen, in your farming area, because this is very important. If you're a lover of insects, details of biology will be more interesting for you, but how to rid of them will be more important for ordinary people who sometimes slightly afraid of insects. I also showed you some spiders, because point of arachnophobia is still very important for people. I hope to tell more stories to avoid arachnophobia among my followers, among my subscribers, to invite you to the world of zoology all around us, because nature is very delicate subject. This is very fragile object. We need to save animals. We need to save this tiny fragile world of insects and by all other organisms around, the fragile biodiversity of living organisms on us, on our world. That's why I'm showing also different stories in Russian and in Ukrainian, and also in English, definitely, stories about nature, and also I show some interviews of my friends and colleagues about entomology, about nature protection. I show some lectures. I show some lectures about entomological subject about animals and also sometimes about English. And I do like to show my city Kiev, different places in Kiev, and meeting with people who are speaking Russian and Ukrainian and who are speaking English. Definitely this can be very important for people who are English speaking and who are coming to Ukraine and to Kiev for business, for teaching, for learning. So you can receive some advices or you can ask some of your appropriate questions from me, as either from professional in entomology and zoology or as a citizen of Kiev who will tell you more stories about Ukraine in English, because not many people so familiar with YouTube to share their experience, their approach, their knowledge with unknown people. But YouTube is giving us such unique opportunity to communicate with you through all around the world, from Sweden till South Africa, from Brazil and Colombia till the Papua New Guinea, New Zealand and Australia and Japan, East. So I'm really very pleased to invite you to my channel. Subscribe to my channel and you will see all this subject, all these stories and much more than I was told about it. Now you will see it on my channel. Write your comments if you do like something, write your questions, and of course don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. And this sipping, hissing, is funny hissing Madagascar cockroach telling to you, please subscribe to the channel Dr. Viktor Fursov, entomologist, beekeeper teacher. This is his screaming voice. Sorry about that, but he's doing it with great pleasure. Bye bye, see you soon on my channel.